I'm going to ask you to give Oracle a letter grade in the following areas. Excellence in enterprise software.
A.
Adapting to technology shifts.
A.
Technology innovation.
A.
Customer responsiveness.
I'm going to hybrid your answer. I think we have opportunities to improve in terms of making it easy for the customer to get access and get aligned with our technology portfolio. I think our responsiveness is very high, but within that, I think there's an opportunity for us to be more proactive. And that's really where we want to get to as opposed to just responsive, Fritz.
So this week at Oracle Open World, you announced a lot of new things, some of the highlights: infrastructure as a service, private cloud, database in the cloud, and then a new Exadata X3 that also, by the way, powers the cloud. Now, I used to think about Oracle as a database company. How would you describe Oracle today? What business is Oracle in?
Fred, strategically, we're trying to do four things. We're competing at virtually every level of the technology stack, and we want to be best of breed at each of those parts of the stack. It doesn't matter whether it's a storage, server, operating systems, database, applications, everything on its individual merits, we want to be best of breed. Second, we take those best of breed parts and we vertically integrate them. Manifests itself in things like you call Exadata, Exalogic, Exalytics, where we take best of breed software and we wrap that around hardware, integrate that into an engineered system, which gives us extreme TCO, extreme performance. Thirdly, we're going after new generation of applications in the cloud. And for us, that's called Fusion applications. Those are modular applications where you can buy pieces of an application. In HCM, human capital management, you can buy performance management or recruiting. And you can buy those as modules and make them work with your existing applications. And we're going to run those through the cloud, private cloud, or on-premise. And then fourth, we're doing as much as we can in the context of an industry solution.
I heard a lot of cloud in there. So let's just talk about that for a second. Where do you think Oracle is advantaged in the cloud?
Well, and it depends what you mean by cloud. There's so many different definitions of cloud out there today. It's almost like every product release you see, somebody says cloud before or after whatever it is that they're releasing. To us, we really talk about it at three different layers: the infrastructure, the platform, and the applications. We're the only company today that has all three capabilities. We actually can do it all the way up through the application layer. We can do that for you as a private cloud behind your firewall, as OpEx or CapEx, whichever makes the most financial sense for you. Or we can do it through the Oracle Cloud itself, and we can actually make the two interplay together. So when you look at companies that have all three parts of the quote-unquote cloud stack, have the ability to do it behind your firewall, be able to deliver the Oracle Cloud, and be able to work together, we're the only company in that context that can do all of what I described.
Would you say that maybe Microsoft is the closest?
I would say today we are the only one that can do what I described, and anyone that I can see for the foreseeable future, based on the way I see portfolios out in the industry, that can do what I described.
Where do you think Oracle might be disadvantaged in the cloud?
Yeah, I would say on the whole, in the context of having a suite of applications as opposed to one singular process, I would say we're advantaged over everybody. In terms of being able to bring all three capabilities, I would say we're advantaged over everybody. I would say in one discrete process, we've had a competitor who's been in the market longer than we have. Now, good news for them, they've been built on Oracle database, on Oracle middleware, so they've got a good platform. But they've got references, they've been in this longer, and so in that very discrete one process, I'd say we've got work to do. We're sort of the underdog, and we've come out with newer functionality, with an application built on a newer tool set. We're lining up our sales force to go at them hard, and that's probably the place we've got the work to do.
On the database, so 12c announced that is a multi-tenant database, virtualized database. In the past, Oracle has charged for its database on a per CPU basis. In a virtualized world, how do you charge for the database?
Well, you can continue to license the database as you traditionally have. You can get the database as part of the Oracle Cloud. You can get it as part of a solution in the context of a private cloud.
I look at SAP and I see lots of cloud activity, success factors, business by design, new modules around sales and financials, but Oracle has said that SAP would have nothing in the cloud until 2020. What did you mean by that?
That they would have nothing in the cloud of consequence until 2020. And I think that was a quote that's come out of some of their own material as they show their roadmaps. But it took Oracle 6 to 7 years of development to take the core applications built on Fusion middleware and release Fusion Cloud applications. So now they may be, if they're just as good as we are, and they start right now, they might make end of 2019. Maybe they'll make 2020. Maybe they won't be as good. They'll make 2022.
Salesforce.com, we just talked about them. In a recent Q&A, you talked about them more as a Salesforce automation, but they do a heck of a lot more than that. And obviously they don't have the private cloud or the on-premise solution, but they have gotten into human capital management, social marketing, social media, some of the same places that Oracle is in. How do you look at them as a competitor?
I think the core of that company is focused as a sales automation company, SaaS, through the public cloud. And I think they've done a good job of it. They've been out there longer. They've gotten a lot of references. They've had, fundamentally no competition for a long period of time. And I think the good news for customers is that they will have some.
Let's talk about engineered systems for a bit. Now, I hate to make you have to back up words that others have said, but on stage, Larry said that SAP's HANA in memory is 0.5 terabyte. But SAP's actually shipped with IBM a system that is 100 terabytes of main memory, and that's already in place. So, what's the overarching message to the customer about the advantage? Is it really about bigger, faster, faster speeds, more memory? Is that where the competition is right now, or are there other advantages that Exadata provides that nobody else can touch?
Yeah, listen, I think you're going to hear various things go back and forth. What I know of is actually a 0.5 terabyte, similar to what Larry described, and I think he was just doing simple math of 26 terabytes in an Exadata, which is 4 terabytes of DRAM and 22 terabytes of flash, compared to 0.5 terabyte. Now, there's other differences. HANA has 4 databases in it, and Exadata has 1. So by definition, it's simpler, and you probably know all the issues with persistence of a database, but I don't think that's at the core of your question. Exadata really is an opportunity to anyone that's got the Oracle database to gain material performance advantages. Now, one of the things that Larry talked about, which I think was very important, was we've been able to make the Oracle database with Exadata go extremely fast, deliver extreme performance. But the continuum between performance and cost savings is one continuum. So we get the example of, wow, that thing is so fast, I don't really need anything that's going to be another 3-4 times faster than that. But in context, you do, because in fact, if the same performance level, that costs you materially less money. And so for us, we have the ability for Exadata not only to be a really, really fast computer, for it not to be just simpler because we provisioned the server, the storage, and the database all together for you. But we now have the opportunity to provide tremendous consolidation opportunities for our customers that have lots of storage. The compression, Fritz, inside one of these Exadatas is roughly 10 to 1. Meaning, let's take your example of something you said with a customer that's got 100 terabytes. We have customers that have had as much as a petabyte that are now able to take their Oracle infrastructure and turn that petabyte into 100 terabytes. So you've reset your storage baseline. And when you compress this data, Fritz, we have customers that compress it. They don't have to rehydrate it to back it up. They only have to back up the increments when they actually grow the database, once they've backed up once. So this is not just a really fast Oracle computer. It's a computer that our capability, including storage and software, that can now compress, consolidate, and be a tremendous source of savings in addition to performance for our customers.
Are they starting to buy based on the value, though? I mean, you know, so I get the cost efficiency, the faster speeds, but at some point, you know, people are spending lots of money on these systems, these engineered systems. There has to be some transformational value there rather than just faster query speeds, doesn't there?
Let me try to give you a bigger picture. We have many customers who are sitting today on tens of petabytes of storage. I'll give you some numbers. And you've probably seen this over your couple of days at the conference. I've tried to say this several times to get people to understand the magnitude of the issue that's out there. Most of our customers are growing their data 30, 35, 40, 45% per year. Significant growth in data. Most of our customers are spending $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a terabyte to house this data. Most of our customers spend 10% of their IT budget storing the data. Some a little bit less, some a little bit more. That math, when combined, is staggering. If you've got 50 petabytes of storage, I wish that was unusual today. That's not an unusual number for our big customers. If they grow at 40%, they're going to have to buy 20 petabytes of storage to store that data. If they're going to spend $10,000 a terabyte, they're going to spend $200 million on storage. When you talk about Exadata, if 70, 80%, whatever that number may be, of that data is in Oracle, I now have the opportunity to get a 10 to 1 on that. If I had 50 petabytes, 80's in Oracle, that's 40 petabytes. Can I shrink that 40 petabytes to 5, 6, 7 petabytes? Fritz, I then reset that baseline in terms of what that cost profile looks like. And all I did there is shrink the data. I didn't speed it up. I just compressed it. So the opportunity for us to speed up the job, turn that into performance for you, compress the data, simplify the provisioning process. We think improve the support process when we wrap Platinum services around it. This is differentiated. Now, I will say one thing to you. Because we're the only ones with the ability to integrate that much of the stack together, we've got as much communication and awareness to do as we do selling to get this out there. But you see in our numbers, you know, last year we tripled our volume in engineered systems. We just announced our first quarter where we doubled our engineered system over prior year. So we're seeing success.
We hear from a lot of customers that they're kind of starting at that quarter rack level, or that they have started at that quarter rack level, and at Oracle Open World you announced an 8th rack configuration.
Eighth of a rack.
Eighth of a rack. Is that kind of in a way, a tacit admission that people are kind of dipping their toes in?
I would say you have anything that's gotten as big as the engineered systems business has gotten now. You can see almost all dynamics you want. We have people that, you know, you might think of as small and medium business who now say an 1/8 of a rack gives me a penetration point that I can get into the technology. We have very large customers that are running payment systems, e-business suite, using consolidation the way I described to be able to shrink their infrastructure. All different applications now using Exadata as a core basic building block in that infrastructure. The average selling price per unit is going up, meaning that people are buying richer configurations. We still have a large percent of our business, though, is brand new first-time logos who are starting the business, which is where this penetration point becomes important as well. So you can find both. And of course, you saw the announcement today, or yesterday with Dash 3, 26 terabytes of memory. These are very, very large, fast computers.
The social part, just want to touch on that real quickly. So what we heard this week was social is baked in. Does that mean it's not being sold, the social stuff isn't being sold as standalone products? We heard that social will just be a part of every application, part of the platform.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a bunch of discussion about is social platform or is social part of an application, and the answer is yes. I mean, when you get down in terms of where it sits, you'll see some availability by platform, the historical, what you've seen from Collective Intellect and Vitru and so forth. But in the end, what the real opportunity is for our customers to be able to integrate social capabilities into their core applications. So let's take an example of customer experience. Not just half an hour ago, I was talking to 800 customers about the customer experience and some of the things I'm sure you're aware of we've done with ATG and Endeca, et cetera, over the years in terms of our ability to connect with customers, transact with customers, et cetera. Social now becomes a very important part of that. The fact that I can now take my brand and look real time at what's coming back via YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, any social media where I can now gather the effects that a campaign or a program or an event is having on my brand. So baking social in to that greater, broader capability, key differentiator for Oracle.
There's a perception out there that I've heard, Oracle dismisses the cloud, now you're all in on the cloud. Oracle dismisses in-memory, now you're heavy-duty in-memory. Oracle dismisses multi-tenancy. Now, well, it's multi-tenancy at the database layer. The question is, is Oracle finding itself in a position of following instead of being the innovator? You gave yourself an A for innovation.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you look at the results of, because there's sort of an implication in your question that somebody says something, then there's an announcement that changes the mind. The reality is these technologies we just released take years.
Sure.
To develop. So the fact that someone's building Fusion Cloud applications 5 or 6 years ago, forget what you called it, I'm not even sure the term cloud was around at that time frame. The fact is software available via the kinds of architectures the cloud provides? Somebody had to be working on that back in 2004, 2005 to be able to come out today. The facts are that the only one in the market right now with a suite of applications that effectively are software as a service cloud applications is Oracle. I don't know anyone else. Maybe you do, but I don't know who they are.
No, but I mean, just jumping to the multi-tenancy thing.
Sure.
Agreed. 12c must have been in development for quite some time. It's not easy to do those things. So why stand up a year ago and say multi-tenancy is insecure? Why not say multi-tenancy at the application layer is insecure, which is what was said this year? Why? I mean, it kind of creates this mentality that, Oracle's being disingenuous, or it's not innovating, it's just following really fast, or it's playing with words.
Well, let's go back one step. First of all, I can't speak to every comment that everyone would make. I do think, though, it's impossible to follow and yet be first in most everything that you do. I mean, the first engineered systems, Oracle. The first engineered systems up through the database, Oracle. Up through middleware, Oracle. The first engineered systems integrated around BI, Oracle. The biggest in-memory machines today that I'm aware of, Oracle. And so the most advanced cloud database in the world, 12c. And so when you look at these are a series.
And the first multi-tenancy database.
Yes, and so, thank you. And so, but my point being, it's just one announcement after another where Oracle leads. Now, what I would tell you is at the same time, we haven't built everything. We've looked, particularly over the last couple of years that I've been here, when we've seen things that weren't being developed. So, for example, in Fusion HCM, while we feel great about HCM, we were not building a recruiting module. And we went to the market and bought Taleo, which was the leading recruiting solution in the market. We were not building a service automation solution. And we went to the market and bought RightNow. When you looked at the commerce server world, we went to the market and bought ATG. And we could go through these. In the interest of time, I won't. But it's been a combination of leadership in R&D and organic R&D development, which I think, frankly, is second to none when you look at the slew of products. In the end, it all comes down to products. I mean, we can talk about the secular trends and the macro trends. We can talk about our strategy. But it has to be supported by the end, our ability to execute on that strategy with solutions and products and capabilities that actually solve something for a customer. So I think the combination of that organic R&D with our, I think, thoughtful M&A strategy gives us the portfolio we've got today, which we feel second to none.
I do want to just touch real quickly on enterprise software because you guys have been at it for a long time and you have this new suite. You gave yourself an A for excellence in enterprise software. What do you think your customers would give you at this point?
Well, listen, and what I gave us an A for was our vision in enterprise software, the direction that we're taking enterprise software. And clearly we have a very large e-business suite customer base. We have a very large PeopleSoft base. We have a very large Siebel base. So all of these have opportunities for us to migrate over time. I think our customers always want us to integrate faster. Our customers always want us to innovate faster. And so you're going to hear always stories that, example, I always love the one when we buy a company. You know, how quick will you get those integrated? Well, they weren't integrated yesterday, but I know you expect them to be integrated tomorrow. So we always have work to do a better job integrating our capabilities, making it seamless for our customers to migrate, trying to coach them and counsel them on keeping our code bases standard so that over time we can migrate them. So I don't want to say we don't have work to do, but when I talked about our grade for vision, the direction that we're taking our customers, I believe very strongly that we're doing the right thing.
Well, it's good to see the list of 400 customers up there, and I'm glad Larry didn't go through all 400. But
there will be, Fritz, promise you, there will be many, many more.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Fritz.